So if that person is not in alignment, or if they're not in agreement with what you're trying to do, take them out of your life. They don't deserve to be in your life. That God is going to give you new people. Stop being afraid to lose people who are not even meant to be in your life. Welcome back. I am Vanessa Elaine. Today we're going to be talking about how to stop people pleasing. It's time for you to learn your worth and know that you don't need anybody to validate you but God. I'm also going to give you signs to identify whether or not you are a people pleaser, because sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you just think that you're just being a good person and you don't see that as people pleasing. But in turn, you're only hurting yourself. So y'all know how it goes. I got my notes here. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. From the dictionary, it states that a people pleaser is someone who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or her own needs and desires. That means that person, when you're a people pleaser, you put your needs, your desires, your goals on the back burner just so you can make sure everybody else is okay. And you may think that that's me being a nurturer. That's me looking out for people. I'm a loyal person. I'm a good person. I care for people. I love people unconditionally. No, because if you love people more than you love yourself, that's not good. That person has become an idol to you. So when you are people pleasing, knowing that you're seeking validation, you're seeking something outside of yourself from someone else. And that's what's dangerous about it, is because you no longer have regards for what you want in life. You no longer care about what you want in life. It's all about other people. You put everybody else's needs before your own. You will have goals. You will have things that you want to accomplish in life, but you're so busy trying to help everybody else fulfill their needs that you forget about yourself. And God is not pleased with that, because you want to know why he's not pleased with that. God has plans for you. God has things for you to do. So if you're worried about everybody else and not worried about what God needs from you and needs for you to do, that means you're being disobedient to God. While you're out overextending yourself, that means that you are being disobedient to God. Not everything is made for us to help. Sometimes God is taking somebody through a season, and here you go being the crutch. Here you go being the helper that person didn't even ask for. They just know that you're going to just come through. They just know that they can count on you, because without asking, you just show up. Believe it or not, oftentimes people pleasing begins in someone's childhood. It's a learned behavior based off of someone's experience and also how they were socially in their upbringing. Like, for instance, if a child got praised for when they did good, like get good grades, but nothing else, that child in turn grows into the adult that becomes the overachiever and always looks for validation from other people in the things that they pursue. They're not doing it for themselves. They're just doing it for other people to clap for them. And the moment people stop clapping for them, they feel devalued. They don't feel worthy. They feel lost. They feel like a failure, because it's not about what they wanted, but it's about what people wanted from them. And that is so dangerous, because your value is in people and not within yourself. Your value doesn't even come from God. You don't even know who God has called you to be, because you're so worried about what everybody else wants from you, or you're so worried about what you can do for everybody else. So you're not even concerned about the things of God. You void out the voice of God just so you can hear what everybody else needs from you. And there are many reasons why people begin to people please. It can be out of fear of people not liking them, people stop loving them, or not being accepted. Also, the fear of rejection. You feel like if you don't say yes, if you don't show up, or if you say no, that this person will no longer want to be in your life, or this person will not find you valuable, or this person would not want to be your friend. And there's a pattern. People who are normally people pleasers come from a dysfunctional family, believe it or not. And believe it or not, that's believable, because when you come from a dysfunctional family, it's not built on a healthy relationship dynamic. So in turn, you're going to get a lot of that people pleasing, or where you fit in and trying to find some kind of balance, because the relationships are so dysfunctional. The people pleaser in the family, their role is usually being the mediator or the caregiver, the person that always tries to be the middle man or be the problem solver. And you have to understand, not every problem is meant for you to solve. I say this all the time, knowing what battles to fight. Not every battle is yours to fight. Some things you gotta let it happen. Some things you just gotta sit down and just watch from a distance. Not everything is meant for you to save and try to mediate. Unless God called you to it and told you to go forth and told you, okay, yeah, I need you to speak some sense into these people, or I need you to go here and go there, then you need to just take a break and take a breather and ask God, what is it that you need from me at this moment? Be concerned about what God needs from you, then more so of what other people need from you. Because the more you continue to people please, it drains you. And years will go by and you will not recognize the person that's in the mirror. You'll have a sense of identity loss because you will no longer know who you are. You don't know what you like anymore because everything about your life was based on someone else's needs and wants and what they wanted to do, what they like to do. It was never about you. You never made your life about you, and that is so dangerous. And that brings me to Galatians chapter 1 verse 10. You know, I always have to bring scripture into this because everything is in the word of God. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would be not a servant of Christ. And that is Paul talking to the church of Galatia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But what he's saying is you cannot be a people pleaser and serve God. There's no way those two can coincide. They can coexist. Being a pleaser of man and a pleaser of God. That you cannot obey God and obey man at the same time. You cannot look after people's needs, wants, and be concerned with what God has for you to do. Some things will be neglected. And when you are a people pleaser, you will neglect what God has for you. You will neglect the assignment on your life. You will neglect your purpose. You will neglect your goals. You will neglect your self-worth. You will neglect your self-esteem. You will neglect your self-confidence. You will neglect building yourself up. You will neglect pursuing what you always wanted to do. You will neglect every part of you because you're so worried about everybody else. And some people, they might do little things for themselves. Don't get me wrong. Like sometimes you'll see the people pleaser goes out, but the only reason why that people pleaser goes out is still based off of what everybody else wants from them. If somebody says, oh, I like when you get your hair done like that, they're going to make sure they get their hair done like that all the time because it pleased that person. They got affirmation from that person. It made them feel good. It made them feel like, oh, accepted. And it's okay to like getting compliments and feeling like, okay, this is my hairstyle because I get a lot of compliments when I wear it. But you have to always look at the intention of the heart. Like, what is your heart feeling at the moment when that person tells you this? And why are you doing it? What is the whole purpose of you going to get that hairstyle? Is it only because that person told you that they liked it on you and you feel like their opinions mattered more than your own? Or is it that you genuinely like this on you? That you, okay, this is me. And yeah, thank you for the compliment, but I already knew. So that's the difference. And in order for you to break free from being the people pleaser, you have to be real with yourself. And a lot of times it's so hard for the person that is people pleasing to be real with themselves. You have to really dissect every area of your life and see where you have people please, where you put your own needs and desires aside just for someone else to be fulfilled. So I wrote this perfect example in my notes. Caring for people that you love is not a bad thing, but the people pleaser will literally bleed out. They will literally have a broken arm running to the hospital just to get better so they can make that birthday dinner in a couple hours because they can't miss it. They're not even worried about their health. They're not even worried about feeling better. They do not want to cancel on that birthday dinner because they have to be there for that friend. They have to go. They put their own health and safety on the limb to the back of their mind. They're not even worried about it. They're like, oh yeah, patch this up real quick. I don't know, do what you need to do as long as it doesn't bleed out and I can still make it to this 8:00 dinner because I have to make it for my girl. I have to make it for my guy. I have to make it because I don't want them to feel like I'm not a good friend. Listen, if those people are really for you, they're not going to get offended. If you have something else that came up, if you're not lying and you're not like bailing out on them on purpose or for other weird reasons, they're going to respect it. People who are for you are going to respect it. Things happen, but the people pleaser does not see it that way. Their whole life is geared to pleasing other people, to satisfying everybody else, to making sure everybody else is happy with them. They're not even happy with themselves, but they want to make sure that everybody's happy with them. And because that's where they get that high from. So I'm going to give you 11 signs that you are a people pleaser. Number 1, avoids conflict. It's not all about being confrontational, but understanding that there is always going to be conflict in life and in relationships, and knowing how to face those conflicts head on. That does not make you a bad person if you talk it out. That's what communication is all about. So a person that is people pleasing is going to avoid conflict because they don't want the person to be mad at them. They just want to please the person. So they never want to address the issues that they may have. That person can disrespect them, do something that they didn't like, didn't show up for them in the way that they showed up for them. The person that is people pleasing is not going to say anything. In their mind, it's going to cause conflict and they don't want to get into it. It's okay. It's okay. So they put their feelings on the back burner. That's a sign that you're a people pleaser. You have to be okay with voicing your opinion in relationship without fear of fallout. Number 2, the people pleaser agrees to everything. Talk about yes, man. Like yes, 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 agrees with everything. Even when the person is dead wrong, the people pleaser is there to, yeah. And sometimes if the people pleaser feels convicted, like what the person is saying is wrong, they just won't say anything. But they would never stand up and like, no, that's wrong. I don't think you should do that. Or I don't think that's right that you said that. Or I don't know why you believe that because I give them a different perspective. No, because they're avoiding conflict as much as possible. They're just there just to please. You don't have a sense of self when you're a people pleaser. And number 3, excessive apologizing. A people pleaser will always apologize where there doesn't need to be a sorry. Like someone bumps into you and you're saying sorry. You could be in a public place. Doesn't even have to be someone you know. You're in a store and someone bumps into you and you're saying sorry. Why are you apologizing? Excuse me? Yes, that's everything that a people pleaser will do. So if you find yourself apologizing where you don't need to apologize because it's something someone else did to you, but you find yourself like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Even in the workplace where someone can miscommunicate and it's all on their end and you find yourself apologizing to that person who miscommunicated, who didn't do the work. So people pleasing is not only affecting your relationships, but it's also affecting how you are in your workplace, how you are in your career, how you show up for yourself. So it affects you in every area of your life. Number 4, seeking validation. So a people pleaser is only validated by what other people say about them, how other people feel about them. Let's look up what validation actually means. When you validate someone, it's showing recognition or affirming who the person is. So if you can't affirm who you are because you're so enamored by what other people feel about you, that is dangerous. Because when people stop validating you, or when people stop saying nice things about you, or when you can't make it, when you can't show up and they start treating you different, you start to feel low about yourselves. You start to feel lonely. You start to feel like you're a failure. You start to feel like you're not loved because you didn't love yourself. You only cared about how other people made you feel based off of how you showed up for them. And people who are people pleasers normally don't attract the best people. They attract the manipulators. They attract the users. They attract the abusers. And that's why it's so dangerous to adopt and keep this people pleasing behavior. Number 5, neglecting self-care. Like I said, the people pleaser is not worried about their needs. So you neglect taking care of your body, your spirit, your soul. You don't pour into yourself like you should. It's more than just about skincare and what you put on. Because sometimes you'll see the people pleaser may dress nice, may prioritize skincare and, getting the best hairdo, and it's only based off of the circle that they're in, so they have to fit in, so they're gonna always fit the part. You get it? Like, that's also based off of people pleasing, that they're doing these things that they don't even, I'm not gonna say they don't like, but they're doing it out of obligation to stay connected to this group of people. Neglecting self-care is not just about you pampering yourself, but it's about what are you pouring into yourself? How are you taking care of yourself spiritually? How are you nurturing yourself? How are you talking to yourself? What are your beliefs about yourself? So that is so important, and neglecting those things only cause chaos in your life, and it allows access to the wrong people, the people who could sense that, oh yeah, this person has low self-esteem, or I know I could get this person because this person gets a high off of like doing whatever I ask them to do. Number 6, fear of rejection. Now this is a big one because you feel like if you're a people pleaser, the moment you say no, you feel like the world is going to crash. The building is going to come crashing down. You feel like these people are not going to be there for you. These people are not going to love you anymore. These people are going to not want to be around you. And that's why you always have to say yes. That's why you always have to extend yourself, because you don't want to feel left alone. You don't want this person to feel any type of way towards you, but you have to learn to put yourself first. Number 7, the inability to say no. If you have to practice to say no, you have to learn to say no. And I know it's easier said than done, but definitely start small with the little things. The people pleaser has a real big problem with saying no when they have something else to do. Like, say for instance, you want to go see a movie and this is your thing and only your thing because not everybody likes sci-fi movies, right? And your friend needs someone to watch their dog because they just got a last minute trip to go see the new guy that they met. But you know, you already bought your movie ticket and it's in an hour and your friend just called you an hour before the movie actually starts. You already have plans. You feel in your gut that you can't say no, that it's so hard for you to say no or even to speak about the plans that you have, that you will rearrange your whole life based off of that person's needs. And of course, you want to be there for your friend, but this is something that's last minute and you already had plans. And this was something that you were looking forward to. So why put that on the back burner when this is something that you were looking forward to? This is something that's going to make you feel good. This is something that you're going to enjoy, that's going to be entertainment for you. And this is last minute. This is so inconsiderate of this friend. And if this is a real friend, you saying no, the friendship should not have a fallout based off of you saying no, because the friend will understand that, oh, if you could, you would. And this is last minute. And one thing about people, if you say no, trust me, they're gonna figure it out. People always figure it out. When they have a need for something, people are going to figure it out. So you are not the Jesus in their life. They are going to figure it out. Stop thinking that you can save people based off of your yes. It's okay to say no. Number 8, taking the blame. The people pleaser would take the blame for someone else's fault. And you can see that in someone's workplace. Like, oh, the team leader, no, they didn't send that email out. And here you go, well, you know, I was supposed to correspond and wait, what? Be quiet. Stop taking blame where you shouldn't. Another way someone who suffers from people pleasing, they will take blame when someone did them wrong. You know, people will beat you mad when they're wrong. The wrong people, manipulative people, will beat you mad when they're wrong. The people pleaser will give into that false narrative that manipulator just made up. They will know deep down inside that they are right for feeling the way they do. But the fact that they are dealing with this people pleasing behavior, they will just take the blame. Because remember, a people pleaser is going to avoid conflict at all costs. And in turn, number 9, overcompensating. You overcompensate for everything in the relationships that you're in, that you overdo it. Like, you overextend yourself and you suppress your emotions. That's number 10, is suppressing your emotions, that you do not tell people how you really feel. So when you suppress your emotions, you put on a happy face when you know you're mad, or when you know you're sad. When you feeling displeased, you just put on a happy face because you just trying to save face with other people, and you don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable based off of how you feel. A people pleaser has a lack of boundaries. That's another thing. When you don't have any boundaries, you're going to end up people pleasing. Like, I have friends that know, like, oh yeah, Vanessa not going for that. Like, or you can't really invite Vanessa out on a last minute thing. Or if they really want to invite me, they always mention, I know it's last minute because I don't do well with last minute. I'm not going to show up. Like, did you know about this event prior? But if it was a last minute event that was created and they want to include me, if I can make it, I'm going to make it. But knowing that I'm not that person that you can invite last minute like I'm a wingman. I had to learn to set up boundaries because I remember I didn't have boundaries. So I would go places where I didn't want to go, where I wasn't comfortable, but I wanted to be there for my friend, or I just didn't want to say no because I'm like, they asked me. It's okay. It's okay. But in my heart, in my gut, I felt like, yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I want to stay home. But just to please somebody else, I said yes. So the lack of boundaries for me. And number 12, the most important, you are more focused on pleasing other people than pleasing God. That is the biggest sign that you are a people pleaser. When you are more concerned about someone else's needs, what they want from you, how to make them happy, how to be there for them, how to make sure that you don't disappoint them more than you thinking about God, that's a problem. People pleasing can lead to burnout and resentment. You'll end up resenting others and you'll end up resenting yourself for the decisions that you make and the things that you allow into your life, and how you are so distracted by everyone else's needs that you are no longer focused on what you need to do for yourself. So you'll sit back and think how far you could have been in life, but you were so worried about pleasing other people. You'll have this resentment or hatred for yourself, but give yourself grace, because this is why you're watching this video, so you can stop people pleasing. It's not going to be overnight, but if you practice these things, if you implement these things into your daily life, because you're going to experience people pleasing daily. Now you're going to be more aware of where you people please, because some things may go over your head and you don't notice that it's people pleasing. But by watching this video, you're going to slowly realize places where you people please, and you can implement what I'm about to tell you so you can stop and begin to choose yourself and choose what God wants from you and become that woman of God, that man of God that God has created you to be. In order for you to stop people pleasing, you have to build self-awareness and you have to learn how to be confident in yourself. So now let's get into how to stop people pleasing. Number 1, learn to say no. Girl, guy, listen, whoever's watching this video, say no. If you don't even feel like it, say no. You don't even have to have a big reason. Like if you just want to stay in the comfort of your home, you don't want to go outside today, and this person is asking you to go out with them or whatever, and you don't want to be bothered. That was your plans for the day, is to stay in the house. It's okay to say no if you have nothing to do. It doesn't have to be this big excuse. Well, I have to do this. No. I just don't feel like going. No. Learn to practice saying no. And you can start small. When you say no, like little things. Someone can ask you, let's go to dinner on Friday. And it's like a Wednesday. And you're like, give me some time to think about it. I'll get back with you. If you don't want to say no right then and there, but you know deep down inside you don't want to go to dinner with that person, it lets the person down easy. So if you have fear of saying no right away, just say, give me some time to think about it. I'll get back to you. And even that would be hard for the people pleaser to say, but you just have to practice it. You just have to gain the confidence and the courage to say these things. Don't worry so much about the repercussion, because it may not be any repercussion. Like it may be all in your head. And most times it is that these people will not like you anymore. They won't want to be around you anymore because you said no. If these people are for you, they're going to love you no matter what. They're going to always want you to be around no matter what. Just because you couldn't show up this one time and you said no, that's not the end of the world. And make sure when you say no, you speak clearly. If they ask you why, what's going on, speak clearly where there's no confusion. Be honest and be direct. Use sentences that begin with I. Make it about yourself, because you're taking ownership of your no. Like, this is the reason why I'm saying no. I have to work on myself. So I'm not going to be out as much this summer because I have some plans and goals that I want to make sure I accomplish before the summer is over. Girl, I'm sorry I won't be out as much, but thank you for the invite. Just like that. Because that shows that you're focused on your own priorities. Number 2, validate yourself. Stop seeking validation from other people. And you're like, how do I validate myself? You have to stop caring what other people think about you. Seriously. I know it's easier said than done, but you actually just have to start adopting that belief system. Because the more you look for other people, I said it before, validating you, the more you feel distant from yourself. Because if you do not validate yourself, you will lose control of who you are. You have to separate what people think about you versus what you think about yourself. And I know you're like, well, I don't feel good about myself. And that's what brings me to number 3, spend time with yourself. That's why it's so important for you to say no, because you can't go out. You can't be around people. When you're trying to stop people pleasing, you have to unlearn a lot of behaviors. You have to unlearn a lot of things that you have took on as a belief system about yourself, which is not true. And you have to rebuild your confidence. In order for you to rebuild your confidence, you have to quiet the noise from the outside. So this is the time where you spend as much time as you can by yourself. You're not going to be by yourself because you're going to have God with you. Like, I don't believe in going into isolation if God did not call you into isolation, because the enemy will creep in and he will play with your mind. So I'm not saying to be in isolation mode, because community is important. But when you're trying to stop people pleasing and getting away from the people who have been using you for years and been abusing you emotionally or whatnot, or verbally abusing you and just manipulating you to do things and be there for them, and they don't even show up for you, it's time for you to rebuild yourself. And how you're going to rebuild yourself? With the Lord. I don't believe that anyone can truly love themselves and know themselves if they don't know God. So this is the time where you give your all and you surrender it all to God. God is going to take those layers. He's going to peel you back like an onion so you can know yourself and love on yourself, to know that he made you. You are wonderfully, beautifully, and fearfully made, okay? Who wouldn't want to be around you? That he has to heal the little girl, the little boy, before you can go out into this world and really be who he has called you to be. Because there'll always be that little, we won't be fully healed. Iron sharpens iron. So whatever you're kind of dealing with, you'll be in a community with women or men, and they will kind of help you heal certain parts of you. So that's why it's so important to be connected to the right people. And with people pleasing, it's easy for you to be connected to the wrong people. So that's why we got to get rid of this bad habit fast. Number 4, you have to know where you're going. If you don't have a sense of direction for your life, you will allow anything and anyone into your life. You have to have a vision for what you want and what God has for you. Not what everybody else wants from you, not what everybody thinks of you. No. This is why it's so important for you to get to know yourself so you can have a vision. Ask God, what vision do you have for me? Give me a new vision for my life, because I believed in so many lies about myself. I believed in what everybody else wanted from me. It's time for me to know what I want for myself and what you want from me, Lord. Let your will be done in me. You spent years being concerned about, what would look good on paper, just to please people, just to look good in front of people. And you neglected what you really were called to do. And when you know where you're going, it will help you say no to things. Because let me give you an example. If you are studying to be a registered nurse, and those classes are not easy, and you're in the nursing program, so you probably can't party as much. You have to be in your books. You probably even have to go to study groups. So being connected with other like-minded people who are in the same field as you, studying the same things. So like I said, iron sharpens iron. Community is so important in order for you to be successful. And you have friends who are not on the same path as you, and they're asking you, let's go out, let's hang out, let's just sit inside and watch a movie. You can't even watch a movie like that, because those 2 hours that you spent watching that movie that did not edify you in any kind of way, you could have been in your books. And I'm not saying to totally disconnect from any form of entertainment, but knowing that you have priorities now, that you have goals that are set and that need to be tackled, that need to be accomplished. So no, you can't go out as much. You can probably set a date like, okay, every third Wednesday or third Saturday, I'm going to go out with my girls. Okay, make that something that you do. So they know, okay, on a third Sunday, I know that Vanessa can go out. You see, and that's setting up the boundaries. Like, they're going to take you more serious because you take yourself serious. If they already know, like, okay, like, she's really serious, he's really serious about this vision, about this goal that he or she is trying to accomplish. That person already told me, like, on the third Wednesday, the third Saturday, that's the only time they can go out. They're going to honor that. If they love you, if they care for you, if they want to see you flourish, if they want to see you grow into the person God has called you to be, if they want to see you be successful, they're going to honor that. They're not going to call you on the first Saturday and say, let's go out, because they're going to remember what you said. They're going to hold you accountable to what your goal is. So it's easier for you to say no when you have a vision for your life. So if you're studying, like the example I use, you're going to know to say no when that person calls you on the days that you did not set for yourself to go out or to entertain certain things that'll distract you from accomplishing what you have set forth. And number 5, which is the last one. Listen, it doesn't even take much for you to start saying no and start choosing yourself and start choosing who God has called you to be. All it takes is these 5 steps. And I'm getting into the last one. The last one is stay away and be willing to let go of toxic people. Don't allow new people in that are toxic, that don't have the same vision as you. I'm not saying they have the same goals as you, but they're headed somewhere that you can't afford to go backwards. You can't afford to be distracted because you have things to do. Because when you are a people pleaser, your life has been spent pleasing other people, and you put yourself on the back burner that you don't even recognize yourself. You don't even take care of yourself. So this is a time where you pour into yourself. So if that person is not in alignment, or if they're not in agreement with what you're trying to do, take them out of your life. They don't deserve to be in your life. That God is going to give you new people. Stop being afraid to lose people who are not even meant to be in your life. We allow any person into our life, and then we think that we're losing if they leave. God didn't even call you to be in connection with that person. That's somebody that you chose off the whim. That's the person that you chose based off of the season that you were in, how you felt about yourself, and you didn't feel good about yourself. So of course you're going to attract a mess. When you don't feel good, when you don't see yourself as God sees you, you're going to just attract people based off of who you are at that moment. You're not going to be choosing people based off of where you want to go 5 years from now. So if you have low self-esteem, you lack confidence, you at that job for 10 years that's still paying you minimum wage, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're only going to attract people who are living the same lifestyle. You're not going to see yourself outside of that job. You're not going to see yourself successful. You're not going to see who God has called you to be because you're stuck. And iron sharpens iron. So your community is so important. What you allow into your life is so important. So the more you attract the wrong people, or the same people that are not going anywhere, you stay stuck. You begin to people please. Listen, God has called you higher. So that's why this last step is so important for you, not only to just stop people pleasing, but a part of you pursuing purpose and living a good life, the best life, the life that God has ordained for you to live. I'm not saying life would come without problems. Problems are going to always be, but you're going to live a life more fulfilled. That is the difference. Do not downplay yourself. That's the end of that, because when you're around toxic people and you're a people pleaser, you're going to downplay yourself because they're going to make you feel like you're not worthy. So you just play into that narrative that they fed you, and you can no longer undermine yourself and seek your worth from other people. This is the time where you pour into yourself. I'm going to keep repeating that because you have to build your confidence. You have to build yourself up. Stop looking for other people to find worthiness, that you are worth it. You are worth it. You are worth it. You're not going to lose anything when you choose yourself. The only thing that you lose, the only people that you lose when you choose yourself is the people that are not meant to be in your life. Because anybody that gets offended by you choosing yourself and setting up these healthy boundaries are people that were just there to use you in the first place. Those are people who were not a part of your destiny. Those are people that you chose out of your flesh based off of where you were. Now it's time for you to go forward, because people pleasing has kept you stuck for so long, and it's time for you to be set free. So implementing these 5 steps, and I'm not even going to say that they're easy because it's going to be a process, but extend grace to yourself. You have been a people pleaser for so many years. So of course, this is not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen. Just continue to practice, and it will become a lifestyle. It will become you. This is something that is you. Like they know, oh yeah, this person has set up these boundaries. They don't play about themselves. You're not playing about yourself no more. You got to stop playing about you, because the more you play about you, the more people going to play with you. That's all I got to say. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. Let me know how you're going to stop people pleasing. Let me know areas that you have been people pleasing. If I didn't touch on it, let me know. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video. And again, and look forward to my That Girl in Christ course. I will be creating a course. My membership has closed. It will be open back up August 1st. I had to close it out because July, we're fasting, we're doing this, and I didn't want new members coming in the middle of the fast. I want everybody to have the same experience and get everything that God has for them. I don't want them to miss out on anything. So that's why I'm closing out the membership to my community on June 30th. It won't be reopened until July 30th. I'm going to say that because I have to let them in on July 30th. Look forward to the course. So make sure you stay connected. Turn on that bell notification so you'll get notified every time I drop a video. And it'll keep you posted with everything that I have going on. Thank you for tuning in. It's your girl, Vanessa Elaine. Until next time. Bye.